Global warming, a term that has become synonymous with climate change, refers to the long-term rise in Earth's average surface temperature due to human activities, primarily the emission of greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide. These gases trap heat in the atmosphere, creating a greenhouse effect that leads to a range of environmental, social, and economic consequences. The effects of global warming are profound, far-reaching, and increasingly evident in everyday life, impacting ecosystems, weather patterns, sea levels, and even human health. One of the most immediate effects of global warming is the increase in average temperatures across the globe. According to data from climate scientists, the Earth's surface temperature has risen by approximately 1.2 degrees Celsius since the late 19th century. This seemingly small change has led to significant alterations in weather patterns, resulting in more frequent and intense heat waves. Regions that were once temperate are now experiencing extreme heat, leading to a host of challenges for both people and wildlife. For instance, prolonged heat waves can exacerbate drought conditions, leading to water shortages, crop failures, and increased risk of wildfires. The 2021 Pacific Northwest heat dome serves as a stark example, where temperatures soared to record highs, resulting in health emergencies and devastating impacts on local ecosystems. The rise in global temperatures also contributes to the melting of polar ice caps and glaciers. The Arctic region is warming at an alarming rate, with temperatures increasing nearly twice as fast as the global average. The melting of ice sheets in Greenland and Antarctica not only contributes to rising sea levels, but also disrupts local ecosystems. Polar bears, seals, and other species that rely on sea ice for their habitat are facing existential threats as their homes disappear. The loss of ice also impacts indigenous communities that depend on these ecosystems for their livelihoods, leading to a cultural and economic crisis. As glaciers retreat and ice melts, sea levels rise, posing a significant threat to coastal communities worldwide. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC, estimates that sea levels could rise by nearly a meter by the end of the century if current trends continue. Low-lying islands and coastal cities are particularly vulnerable, facing increased flooding, erosion, and the salinization of freshwater sources. Places like Miami, New Orleans, and Jakarta are already grappling with the consequences of rising seas, leading to displacement of populations and the loss of infrastructure. The migration of people due to climate-related factors, often termed climate refugees, is becoming a pressing humanitarian issue, as entire communities are forced to abandon their homes. In addition to the physical effects on the environment, global warming has a profound impact on weather patterns. The increased heat in the atmosphere leads to more moisture, resulting in heavier rainfall and more intense storms. Hurricanes, typhoons, and cyclones are becoming more frequent and severe, causing catastrophic damage to communities and ecosystems. The 2017 hurricane season in the Caribbean, which saw hurricanes like Harvey, Irma, and Maria wreaking havoc, serves as a stark reminder of the destructive power of climate change. These storms not only cause immediate destruction, but also have long-term effects on infrastructure, economies, and public health. The agricultural sector is not immune to the effects of global warming. Changes in temperature and precipitation patterns can disrupt growing seasons, reduce crop yields, and threaten food security. Farmers are facing challenges such as increased pests and diseases, altered water availability, and unpredictable weather events. Staple crops like wheat, rice, and maize are particularly vulnerable, and projections suggest that without significant adaptation measures, global food production could decline significantly in the coming decades. This decline could lead to increased food prices, malnutrition, and social unrest, particularly in developing nations that rely heavily on agriculture for their economies and livelihoods. Moreover, global warming poses serious threats to biodiversity. As habitats change due to rising temperatures and shifting weather patterns, many species struggle to adapt or migrate to new areas. The loss of biodiversity has cascading effects on ecosystems, disrupting food webs and reducing resilience to environmental changes. Coral reefs, often referred to as the rainforests of the sea, are particularly vulnerable to warming waters and ocean acidification. The phenomenon of coral bleaching, where corals expel the algae that provide them with nutrients, is becoming increasingly common, with coral reefs supporting a vast array of marine life and providing critical services to coastal communities. Their decline could have devastating implications for both ecosystems and economies. Human health is also significantly affected by global warming. Rising temperatures can exacerbate respiratory and cardiovascular conditions, as poor air quality becomes more prevalent with increased heat and pollution. The spread of vector-borne diseases, such as malaria and dengue fever, is also linked to changes in climate, as warmer temperatures expand the habitats suitable for disease-carrying insects. Extreme weather events, such as hurricanes and floods, not only cause immediate physical harm, but also lead to long-term mental health issues, as individuals and communities grapple with loss, trauma, and displacement. Vulnerable populations, including the elderly, children, and those with pre-existing health conditions, are particularly at risk. The economic implications of global warming are vast and multifaceted. The costs associated with climate change are already being felt in various sectors, from agriculture and fisheries to infrastructure and healthcare. Governments and businesses are beginning to recognize the need for adaptation and mitigation strategies, investing in renewable energy, sustainable practices, and resilient infrastructure. However, the transition to a low-carbon economy requires significant investment and commitment, and the pace of change often lags behind the urgency of the crisis. The economic disparity between nations also plays a role, as developing countries often lack the resources to effectively combat the effects of climate change, exacerbating existing inequalities. Addressing global warming requires a multifaceted approach that encompasses mitigation, adaptation, and resilience-building strategies. Mitigation efforts focus on reducing greenhouse gas emissions through the transition to renewable energy sources, improving energy efficiency, and promoting sustainable land use practices. The adoption of technologies such as solar, wind, and hydropower, along with innovations in energy storage and carbon capture, can play a crucial role in curbing emissions. Additionally, reforestation and afforestation initiatives can help sequester carbon, contributing to a healthier atmosphere. Adaptation strategies are equally important, as they help communities prepare for and respond to the impacts of climate change. This includes investing in resilient infrastructure such as flood defenses and sustainable urban planning, as well as implementing agricultural practices that enhance food security in the face of changing climatic conditions. Education and awareness raising are also critical components, empowering individuals and communities to take action and advocate for sustainable practices. International cooperation is essential in the fight against global warming. Climate change knows no borders, and its effects are felt globally, making it imperative for nations to work together to address the crisis. Agreements like the Paris Agreement aim to unite countries in their efforts to limit global warming to well below 2 degrees Celsius, above pre-industrial levels. However, achieving these goals requires commitment, accountability, and transparency from all nations, particularly the largest emitters. The role of individuals in combating global warming cannot be understated. While systemic change is crucial, individual actions can collectively make a significant impact. Simple lifestyle changes, such as reducing energy consumption, using public transportation, minimizing waste, and supporting sustainable products, contribute to a larger movement toward environmental stewardship. Advocacy for policies that promote sustainability and hold corporations accountable for their environmental impact is equally important. Grassroots movements and community initiatives can drive change at the local level, fostering a sense of collective responsibility for the planet. Despite the daunting challenges posed by global warming, there is also a growing recognition of the opportunities that arise from the transition to a sustainable future. The shift toward renewable energy sources not only helps mitigate climate change, but also creates jobs and stimulates economic growth. Innovations in green technology and sustainable practices can lead to new industries and markets, fostering resilience and adaptability in the face of change. The pursuit of sustainability can also enhance quality of life, promoting healthier communities and ecosystems. In conclusion, the effects of global warming are pervasive and multifaceted, impacting the environment, human health, economies, and social structures. The urgency of the situation calls for immediate and concerted action at all levels, from individuals to governments and international organizations. While the challenges are significant, the potential for positive change and a sustainable future is within reach. By embracing innovation, collaboration, and a commitment to stewardship, society can work toward a healthier planet for current and future generations. The fight against the global warming is not just a necessity, it is an opportunity to redefine our relationship with the Earth and create a more equitable, sustainable world.